Hey friends, just want to share a video with you and kind of discuss a little bit about nutrition, diet. I've been getting so many comments, so many questions about what's the best diet for me to either lose weight, get rid of this psoriasis or digestive issues and things of that nature. So what's best? Keto, paleo, is plant-based even good for us, and things of that nature. So again, these are all becoming super duper popular. All three of these, the paleo, the keto, and the plant-based diet. And they're a little bit polarizing, so hopefully I can relieve some of the stress and confusion around it with my 22 years as a health coach, nutritionist, all the research I've been doing over the last 10 or 12 years, what I've been doing with my clients, and what I've even been trying out myself, and kind of share some of this stuff to hopefully give you insight and some release and relief of stress. Let's go first and foremost that all three of these are completely in the right direction away from disease compared to the standard American diet or the Western diet, which is just loaded with refined carbohydrates, processed foods, crackers, cookies, cereals, fake grains, whole grains, which are not really whole grains anymore. So if you're eating muffins and cookies and crackers and chips and potato chips and baked potatoes on a regular basis, you are causing not only inflammation, but something called hyperinsulinemia, which means you have insulin in your bloodstream on a regular basis. And insulin is a hormone that pushes blood out of, or sugar out of the bloodstream. They say it lowers your blood sugar levels, but sure, but where does the sugar actually go? It first goes to your liver until it can't handle it. You get fatty liver, then it sends it to the pancreas, and then you start a whole plethora of diseases. You start storing more fat. So any of the paleo, keto, or plant-based, if it's done with low processed carbohydrates, will get rid of hyperinsulinemia and hopefully reverse a lot of symptoms and issues, but it's always a step in the right direction. I just came back from an awesome conference on low carb, so with the paleo and keto communities. I learned a lot. It was amazing, lots of great information, but there are some limitations and some major concerns. So let's start with paleo first. Paleo is a high protein, low carb diet. It's a lifestyle. Their main concept is to get rid of anything processed, to eat the way our ancestors did. My biggest concern there is eating meat on a daily basis, especially more than once a day, shows a couple of problems. One is, are there carcinogen issues? When we cook meat, there creates carcinogens which increase our risk of certain cancers. So you have to really take that into consideration. And the answer I got at the conference from several people I asked was, well, we've been using fire since the dawn of time. Which I agree with, and we've been cooking meat forever, but the problem is people and our ancestors only lived to 25, 30, 35, maybe 40 years old, so we never really knew if there's a development of carcinogens into cancers at that age, and we just couldn't even detect cancers back then. So that's one issue. The second issue is these communities, the paleo and keto community, which again I support in many ways, are assuming that everybody is getting grass-fed, organically raised beef, really wild animals, wild-caught fish, and are eating these high quality meats. When the reality is, for most people, they're eating restaurant food, fast food, and grocery stores, which are meats that are usually factory farm raised. They're usually loaded with antibiotics, hormones, and things like that, which we know also increase our risk for inflammation, cancer, and even heart disease. So, if you know that you have good sources, I think that's a great way to go. But if your sources of meat are typically fast food, convenience stores, restaurants, things of that nature, I would really consider an alternative to the paleo diet. There's also studies that show high protein and low carb, if it's not high quality meats, can actually increase inflammation. It may reduce inflammation in the beginning, but over time increases inflammation and mortality, so higher risk of premature death for some people, not everybody. So you just have to measure your C-reactive protein. The keto diet has been around since 1920s. It was used for epileptics, and it did reduce seizures and had a lot of other health benefits, including weight loss, which was not expected, but it just did happen. And now they're using it for weight loss in a big way, and it's superb for weight loss. It's really strict in your macros. Again, you're eating really high fats. My biggest concern with the ketogenic diet is, are you able to stay really strict with your macros? Can you live with that lifestyle of 70 to 75% fat? Are you getting the high quality fats, not loading up on bacons and processed cheeses, which are not the high quality fats? So, thinking about avocados, nuts, olive oil, things of that nature. So getting the really good quality fats is the majority of your fats. Knowing if you're in ketosis is really key also, because if you come out of ketosis by accidentally eating too much protein or something like that, or eat too much carbs by accident, and then you're putting all this fat into your body when you're not going to metabolize it or use it for fuel, you will start now gaining weight and increasing your risk for heart disease. So if you're going to do a ketogenic diet, make sure you buy one of these devices, which again is a limitation for some people. It's $150 to $300, so you can measure whether you're in ketosis or not and really monitor and stay in ketosis and learn to cycle in and out. Another concern is about 20 to 30% of people is estimated that do not metabolize fat efficiently anyways, so the ketogenic diet is catastrophic for you. So you have to know if you're one of those people or not. But again, otherwise, it's been really shown a lot of major health benefits for a lot of different issues: autoimmune, heart disease, obesity, type 2 diabetes. So there's a lot of great qualities to the ketogenic diet. But we also don't know what long-term benefits are. The longest study to a person or a group of people on the ketogenic diet so far is 10 years. So we don't know long-term stuff enough yet. So there's just some questions there. Plant-based diet thus far has shown a lot of research in regards to reversing diseases, as the others have, but it also has the longest term research. There are limitations to 100% plant-based diet also. I think you do miss certain enzymes and you have to supplement, which is why, to me, I think a balanced diet. I eat about an 85% plant-based diet. I do eat some good grass-fed organic dairy. I like sheep's cream or goat's cream. I like ghee. I like Greek yogurt. I don't eat them often, but I do. I also like steak. I like grass-fed steak once or twice a month. I like wild-caught salmon, a couple of times a month as well. So as long as the plant-based is not refined carbohydrates and you're controlling how much insulin you're producing, I think it's an amazingly beneficial and healthy diet. I've helped more people with that diet than anything else because that's what I've known, but I've helped people reverse diabetes, heart disease, blood pressure, and things of that nature. So what I really want to emphasize is that anything that gets us away from that standard American diet or the Western diet to get rid of the refined and processed foods will help you a ton. It's the leading cause of all diseases. It's the leading cause of our insurance rates, obesity, the collapse of our healthcare system. So I can just, please, I'm begging you to try cutting way down and cutting back on sugary drinks, refined carbohydrates, processed foods, and find a more natural diet. The other thing I want to emphasize is that, when you start looking at these communities, this paleo keto, I don't know within their own communities if there's battling or kind of polarization, but there's definitely polarization between them and the plant-based community. And I really, really, really think that we can all learn from each other. It just reminds me too much of the, extreme right wing versus the extreme tree-hugging left wing, science versus politics. If we combine this stuff, if we, became more humble and, bring our egos down and learn from each other and support each other, we can help many more people much more effectively. Let's combine our resources. So hopefully this has kind of been helpful for you, and just to say, let me try what seems more realistic for me, what's more applicable for myself, and just try it and see what happens. Being mindful, being aware of what's going on with you is the number one way to find out what's the best diet for you. But the one thing is to get rid of the refined carbohydrates or cut way down on them, all right? Hopefully this has been helpful for you. Peace out. Many blessings.